If we want to move forward and meet the SDG targets, there's no question that we need to transform our food system. The problem is that in order to transform it, we need to change the way we do business overall in agriculture and food. We have done a very detailed study to figure out what is really going on and why the agricultural transformation in Africa, but it's very similar elsewhere, is not really moving at the speed it should. Since we published the International Assessment on Agricultural Knowledge, Science and Technology, where we actually have recommended the transformation already of the food system, very little has happened. So we thought we should study and find out what happened with the money, because in the end, it is all about money flows and power. The money flows even today, which is now 50 years after Green Revolution, some 11 years after the Ag report, flows to 95% or more into Green Revolution type agricultural research. So in the end, no wonder that actually the things do not change out there with the farmers' practices, because we need to transform our research institutions to get them to do work in the area of organic agriculture, permaculture, agroecology, so that farmers have access to new knowledge also. Because we do always say that organic agriculture, agroecology are science-based, and that's very important. But again, we need to emphasize that we need more funding to go towards research and extension in these areas. Now, clearly, research in research stations is not enough. In particular, when we talk about agroecology, organic farming, it's important that that research is done with the farmers, on farms, women in particular, and also the youth. So again, we need really to have an understanding of where the money flows, where it comes from, where it goes, to then change the policies and go back to real practical research in and produce public goods. This is also important because we don't want the research to be ending in patent, where farmers have to pay for the results of research, which they should have access freely, given that they're also part of the whole process. We are in a situation right now which is unique. The global community has agreed on the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, where we have very important targets in terms of health, environment, zero hunger, poverty, education, and you name it. I mean, they are all very important goals, and within those goals, a number of targets have been set. It's interesting when you look at the history of the SDGs that a lot of those targets were actually helped and in their development with the results of a number of interesting reports, in particular the Ag report I mentioned earlier, or the IAASTD report, but many other reports which have been published since on the need to transform the food system. And all actually point toward the practices which are recommended within agroecology. So we are actually, if you look at the SDGs, and if we want to meet those targets, we would have to transform agriculture and the food system to agroecological practices. And can it be done? Because then the issue is always, but we cannot feed the world with those technologies. This is sort of grandfather agriculture. We need more industrial agriculture, more technology, biotechnology. Actually, the evidence is quite different, and we know that we can do very well with those new and some are new, some are old practices, which include knowledge, which is very important, good science, which we don't have enough right now, as I mentioned. And I think what's even more important is to learn from nature and work with our environment, with nature. And the examples of a piece of work which I did while I was in Africa on the cassava mealybug biological control shows that if you understand the system, you can actually manipulate it in a way to avoid the use of pesticides. That's in this particular example, because what we did, we used insects which naturally occur and are enemies of the mealybug to control it. And this has been done, across a continent. So very large scale biological control, and it works. And many more cases of biocontrol have been done across the globe and shown very good results. So actually, when it comes to pest management, vector also management, we can do very well with using the ecosystem service which nature has provided in terms of pest management. And it's the same when you look beyond pest management in nutrient cycling, for example, water management, pollination. We've got what we need out there. We just have to use it. We have to understand it to make better use of it. And we also know that farmers have a very good knowledge of many of these ecosystem services, but they have not been given the opportunity to really use them, implement them again, because the trend was in research and extension to mimic green revolution across the globe, where we replace these ecosystem services with goods that can be sold and generate money for the powerful. If we want to move forward and meet the SDG targets, there's no question that we need to transform our food system. The problem is that in order to transform it, we need to change the way we do business overall in agriculture and food. And that can start almost at both ends and in the middle, because everybody is part of that system. So let's say we are looking for the consumer end, we can make a demand for different products. We don't want products with residues. We don't want products who come from industrial type agriculture. So that's the demand side. The production side, farmers can say, we want to produce more ecologically. We want to produce in a system which is resilient, because we need to be ready for climate change, extreme weather patterns, for example. And in the middle, a lot of people also in the transformation industry want to keep their business going. So I think if we work all together, we will get there.